Ladies and gentlemen, oh yeah, we're back. What's going on? The day is Saturday. Usually do this on a Sunday. Not a Sunday, it's a Saturday. But you know what? Still gets released on the same day. Doesn't matter. What's going on? Is everybody working again? Is everybody working? And is anybody hoping that there's another lockdown so you can continue to collect unemployment? You fucking losers. No, I get it. I would want to get it too. I would want to get the unemployment too, especially if like you went back to work. I don't know how long it takes to like re-up on the you know what I mean? Like you went on unemployment because you had to, and then when you could go back to work, you got a job, but then if they shut down again, what are you supposed to do? You know, like you have to get that money. It's not your fault. Dude, I was such an idiot. The first time, or like last year around like October, I had a job. Again, and then I was like, nah, and I quit. And then the restaurant fucking closed, and I couldn't collect unemployment. And that's kind of how I feel right now, to be totally honest. Like I'm not gonna quit my job. Kind of want to, but everyone wants to fucking quit their job. Nope, because nobody wants to work. But I'm at least doing that. Is there any honor in that? Is there any honor in going to a thing that you don't like and just doing it because you would feel like a piece of shit otherwise? Is there any honor in that, or is just the idea to just live in a world where there's no shame and who cares if I'm not contributing anything to society, and I can just sit back and collect $600 a week or whatever it is from unemployment, and then go drink in the park? Does that matter? Does honor, like, does pride, taking pride in what you do even matter anymore? When it comes to, like, because most people just work to get a paycheck. The majority of people work to get a paycheck. And they don't really care about feeling like they're doing something or feeling like they're being productive, because that means different things to different people. For some people, being productive is, I woke up today, I showered, I got a coffee, and then I went to the park and I looked at the clouds and I guessed what the shapes of the clouds were. And then I went and I drank a White Claw and walked more through the park. And then I went home and I drew a picture in a sketchbook that I have. And then I went to bed because I'm an artist, Like, is that, to some people, that's being productive. I get fucking anxious if I'm not doing anything. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm not doing anything, I feel terrible. And like during the pandemic and like during COVID all last year, I wasn't doing shit, so I just felt anxious. I was actually excited to go back to work until I went back to work, and it was just depressing. And so I was like, I have to quit. But now that the shit's open, knock on wood, and now that I'm working and doing that again, it's like, I'll be honest, man. I don't need to be honest. I say that too much, I realize. I'll be honest. Like, yeah, just, you're going to tell the truth? Cool. I don't want to do things that I don't want to do. I think that's kind of the temperature of the country right now. Nobody wants to do the things that they don't want to do. But the problem is somebody has to do them. Somebody has to be the person who rings you up at the clothing store. Somebody has to be the garbage man. If nobody's the garbage man, we're all fucked. We don't necessarily need the, this is the, it goes back to those essential workers. We need the essential. We don't need most people. And people don't want to go back to working the non-essential jobs. That's why we applaud the essential people, because, hey, we don't have a fucking choice. We need you. We need you. We don't need the woman at the clothing store who mans the fucking fitting room and hands you a little tag that says you have 3 items so that they know you don't steal. We don't need you. We don't need you. And you know, you don't need a lot of people. It'd be nice. It's nice to have the cupcake shop. It's nice. It's nice to go in there and browse and look at a thing that your fat face wants to eat, and somebody else, woke up at 3 a.m. to go to the bakery and bake it for you so that you would pay too much money for this thing that's just flour, sugar, eggs, and water, And you're like, I want, that one. Can I get the one with the pecans? No, not that one. The other one. I'm going to get that. We all want to be that person. We all want to be the person on the other side of the counter picking shit out to give to me. Nobody wants to be on the other side, wearing the gloves and the hat and the apron, faking the nicety, faking the niceness of like, yeah, oh, no, my God, I'll totally ring that up for you. Oh, my God, yeah. You got to act like you're, oh, my God, dude, customer service. Everybody should have to work at least 1 year in customer service because that is the most exhausting part of a customer service job. It's not actually doing the work. There's nothing strenuous about putting a cupcake into a box. It's pretending to care about any subset of the population. It's holding your tongue when these sloth of a human beings just sludge through your door and just have no awareness of what they're putting out there. You just want to be, as soon as they walk through the door, you want to be like, how did you make it this far? How are you? You are no shape, and you just exude just gross. I'm not like an energy guy. I'm not like, yeah, great vibes, great energy you have. I less believe it with like positivity. When people are like, yeah, you just give off like a great energy. That seems like shit to me. But like, I get it when it comes to like people who are sketchy and people who are just gross. You fucking know. You know that they're gross. Maybe they're nice, but they're probably gross. And I don't know why it's so hard for me to not, I want to say something, or I at least just want to relax my face. If I let my face be my face for the majority of my day, it'd be off-putting to a lot of people because we're all reacting up here. We're all reacting to everybody that we see internally. We have those internal thoughts, and then we have to fight our face to not make the, oh my God. Oh, imagine being that person. We have to hide that. Some people don't. And you know what? They're probably happier. They're probably happier for it. Maybe they have less friends and maybe they get into more altercations, but they're probably, to the freedom of just being like, oh my God, absolutely no. I just wish I had a little bit more of that. And when you have to deal with people, you have those feelings more, That's why it's like refreshing when you go into like a small mom and pop shop place or you go into like a family owned type thing, something that's been around since like 1964 and they just don't care anymore. You know what I mean? Like places that stay open because what they do, they're so good at what they do. You know what I mean? They don't need to fake nicety to get a repeat customer. You know what I mean? They can do whatever the fuck, and that's that. I'm not coming there because the girl behind the cashier is super friendly and she gave me a free coffee one time because I get a lot. You know what I mean? That's not what people come there for. I like those places. Like it's a lot of like pizza shops where they're just like, what do you want? I respect that. Because I know if they act like that, the pizza's probably going to be good. the pizza is probably going to be pretty good. The only exception to that in terms of a pizza shop is Zazzy's Pizza on the Lower East Side, because they just opened, and the owner was like super excited, and he like sent us out some fucking freebies, because we were one of like the first customers in the pandemic, and that was actually pretty good pizza. But I imagine now, that's slowly gonna go away. But yeah, I just wish you could say what, or I wish you could, your face. I wish your face could just be your face all the time, to force a smile. And some people live their whole lives like that. Some people, they hate the person they're with, or they're not happy, they hate their friends, and they just have to they feel like they can't be themselves. It's like a horrible thing. You feel like you lose sense of who you are. Because we're all animals up here. We're all animals on the inside. And we have thoughts that we think, and we just, because we live in a nice, polite society, we have to bite our tongue, and that's all fine and dandy, but it like compounds. It gets worse when you don't speak your mind, and you don't, do and say how you really feel. It compounds, and then you have an outburst, and that's how you have like a Karen. I think that's what happens. You pretend that you're this person, and then the real you comes out. If we were all the real version of us, maybe it wouldn't be a nicer place, but it'd be more honest. The fact that we're all pretending that everyone's okay right now, when clearly everyone is not. Dude, how about Andrew Cuomo, huh? That fucking guy. I wish I cared. I mean, not that I don't care, but like, when the allegations first came out, that's when it was a bigger deal then. The fact that it's like become true, I don't care. I don't care who is in charge of this fucking hellhole city. I don't care. Just you could put whoever in, as long as they don't shut everything down. That's what I really care about. Obviously, maybe this guy shouldn't be in office if he's, touching his aides and whatnot. It's amazing, like, how it takes I'm glad it takes this long for an investigation. I think that's a good thing. You should investigate. I just wonder, like, because when they confirm, like, yep, we found the allegations to be true, like, I'm wondering what that research looks like. Like, who's in charge of that? You get put on the Cuomo case. Like, where do you start? Do you start with, like, interviewing people? Do you have to go through, like, emails? Seems like a big fucking job. It seems like a big job to be an actual investigator. I don't know if I've talked about this before, but like the investigators, what you think, like when you think of, oh, I'm an investigator, I think of like a magnifying glass, looking for clues. I don't think of, basically a lawyer just reviewing documents and interviewing people and cross-referencing, and that sounds like a shitty job. Like I like the idea of investigate. I just don't think I could do something on that scale. I mean, how many people were fucking interviewed for that case? How many people interviewed Cuomo case? I'm sure that'll do it. AG report says he, against Andrew Cuomo, 11 women harassed, 179 witnesses interviewed. 179 witnesses interviewed. That's bananas. Man, I can't imagine being like one of those people interviewed when like it's such a big deal. It's like being on a jury of like a murder trial, except if like right in the middle of the trial, the defense attorney just like pointed you out and started asking you questions. Like, even if you have nothing to hide, you're put on the spot. That's always so fucking weird. That's got to be, it's like when a cop's behind you, you're driving in your car and a cop's behind you and you didn't do anything wrong, but still you're just like, do I have drugs in this car? You're like, I didn't do anything wrong, but I'm going to slow down and I drive worse when a cop is behind me because all I'm doing is looking at my rear view. I'm not paying attention. I'm not looking even a little bit. I'm just paying attention to my rear view mirror. You get so nervous, even though you didn't do anything. And I would imagine that's how I would be if I was being interviewed. God damn it, take the fucking volume off. I gotta imagine that's how I would be if I was being interviewed for the fucking Cuomo case trial. Is he going to trial? We don't know. I guess not. If is he already found convicted? Do you have to get trialed after the fact? Do you just get fired? I don't know how the law works, but I could just imagine being interviewed and like Cuomo's, he's like your boss pretty much. Even though you don't have anything to hide, there's probably lawyers and police and this and that. They're all in the room and they're on the other side of the table and you're on this side of the table and you're like, do I need to have a lawyer right now? Did I touch someone? Maybe where are you going to take my name down? Because there's probably some people who are like, hey, between you and me, this dude definitely touched people. But I also don't want to be a rat. There's a little bit of that. There's a little bit of I don't like being this guy. And not saying that you should be protecting a guy like this who does these things. But I don't know. It's a weird thing to wait to be, if you legit saw something, to wait until you're interviewed to be like, oh, that guy touches everybody. You know what I mean? Like, you should say something before, but it's hard, man. That takes a level of bravery. You're putting your job on the line. If you see your boss, pinching the secretary's ass or whatever, you have to, and you're going to be the one to go to HR? You're going to go to HR? Really? You're going to be that guy? There's a lot of that, man. It's a lot of how the job world works. I'm not saying it's great, but, they really beat that into you. When you start a job, they beat it into you. They're like, please, if you see anything, if you see the smallest thing, please go to HR. If you don't, then you are complicit. If you see something happening, you have to go and you gotta spill the beans, bro. But it's not that fucking easy. You know what I mean? It's not that easy because as kids, we're always taught not to be a tattletale. Don't be a tattletale. You go and you tell your mom everything. You're that kid. You want to be that kid? It's the same shit when you grow up. It's just what the thing is becomes far more severe. And it's like, when do you say something? Do you do something when they, when Cuomo says something a little off-putting, you're like, oh, that was kind of weird. Yeah, that was a little inappropriate, but what am I going to just blow this whole fucking place up because he said one thing and then you don't say that. And then there you go, he ends up touching people. I never touched anyone. I think his defense lawyer pretty much said, the dude's got no case. He probably thinks he does, though. He probably thinks, I'm allowed to do that, right? I thought that was part of the. Andrew Schultz has a great fucking joke. He it was about when Trump was, the whole grab him by the pussy thing, he thinks he can grab people by the pussy because he's a billionaire, and he was like, kind of checks out. You haven't met a billionaire before. Obviously, I'm glossing over the joke or whatever. You could look it up, but it's kind of that's what they think. They think that they're allowed to fucking do that, man. You get into power and you start thinking, you can just control shit, you run shit. I mean, look at what's going on in the tech world. It's a different type of like power, but like the power to, I want to run everything. I'm going to fucking let's control the world. Have you seen what Facebook is doing in regards to like religion and shit? They want to like control religion. They want Facebook to be like the metaverse or whatever for all, like the convergence point for all religions. What Mark Zuckerberg is basically saying is because if that's the case, if religion is all converged on Facebook, that makes Mark Zuckerberg, that makes him God. If all the religions converge on Facebook and that's where they're held, Mark Zuckerberg is God. Is he not? I mean, that's what he's going for. What was it? As I saw an article, Mark Zuckerberg is planting the first church of the metaverse. Yeah, he wants to be God. The Verge published an in-depth interview with founder Mark Zuckerberg about his ambition to bring the metaverse to life. The term refers to an evolution of 24/7 screen time into a warped synthesis of physical reality, mixed reality, augmented reality, and virtual reality. Yeah, if that doesn't scare the fuck out of you, it's like he wants to become a god, but not confounded, whatever the fucking word is, bound to the confines of the morality that's baked into a lot of religion. Not all religions, but most religions. Like, hey, we're going to become the hub for all religion, and we're just going to be able to control what religion and what things are going to be shared on our platform based on our terms and services. If that's not being the God, I don't know what the fuck is. And that is terrifying. That is terrifying that some dude who, thought up an idea in his Harvard dorm room while he was jizzing into his socks, comes up with this idea, to rate chicks hot or not. And now, boom, 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 however many years later, he's like, what if we controlled religion? That's fucking terrifying, dude. Goes on in the article. Imagine a synagogue where a holographic burning bush recites the Decalogue, or a cathedral where saint icons speak to you directly, or maybe animated deities waving their many arms in Hindu temples. Immersive idolatry is the future of false religion. With 3 billion users worldwide and zero sense of sacred boundaries, Facebook is poised to lead this spiritual revolution. That is fucking crazy. That's crazy. And it's so interesting, like, a lot of the shit that is in religious text, it was written down at a time when we didn't have a lot of this, scientific breakthrough, the technological breakthrough. So it's so like ironic almost to see the convergence of these two things that are completely at odds with each other. To see a hologram of a guy giving a sermon about how some dude split the sea in half. You know what I mean? Be like, this is what happened because this was possible. Right? I mean, we just figured out how to do this, but also this. You know what I mean? He wants to become the fucking God. It's so terrifying. It's so terrifying. Just the idea of the evolution of 24/7 screen time into a warped synthesis of physical reality, mixed reality, augmented reality, and virtual reality. Imagine thinking up that. Imagine having that thought and being like, let's let's do it. You know what I mean? Like, I've daydreamed some crazy things like, oh man, what if you could do this? Well, I'm like eating eggs in the morning. You have some crazy thought. But this fucker's like, oh, let's do it. You know what I mean? He already changed the world. Like, he changed the world. And it's so crazy. These people that just build and build and build and grow. It never stops. It never, ever stops. People like Zuckerberg and Elon Musk and fucking Jeff Bezos, like, you can never just kick back and be like, man, that was cool. Like, all right, that's good enough. There's always got to be a new thing that comes out. There's always going to be another iPhone. Isn't that bananas? There's always going to be another iPhone until iPhones are no longer needed. It's like the gift and the curse. It's the devil and the angel on your shoulder of, like, you know, innovation and design and just further advancement. It's what pushes the whole world further, but at the same time, it takes us further away from what the fuck we actually are, which is just little, you know, monkeys walking around who wanna fuck and eat and sleep and you know, kill each other. I mean, an augmented reality. That's for people who, you know, have terrible existence, that sounds weird. I've had a lot of coffee. For people who just hate their lives and want to sit on the couch, throw on some goggles, or maybe they're not even going to be goggles. It's going to be like contact lenses, you know? You pop in your VR contact lenses, and all of a sudden, you're a prince. You're a prince in your world now. That's fucking crazy. We're all just going to be fat slobs getting food delivered. You know? It's just going to be the people that can't afford those things they're going to be the ones left to take over the real world. You know, they're going to be walking around like a bunch of Will Smiths in I Am Legend, and everyone else is going to be the mannequins. We're just standing there, and they're there, but they're not really there. They're somewhere else, you know? They're zombies. Those people are the fucking zombies walking around with headsets on. I wonder if, like, you know, if we're going to have, like, virtual reality, like, what can you create in a virtual reality that isn't already based on something that exists in the real world? Do you know what I mean? Like, if you could kind of put on goggles and be anything and be anywhere, you know, can you create, like, a new place? Is it like the Matrix? Like, is it bound by what already exists? You know, kind of like a video game, like in those Spider-Man video games, when you're swinging around New York, it's like, well, you're kind of, you know, this is the world that they created. Or are you going to kind of be able to do your own fucking thing and build your own? That sounds lonely. Doesn't it sound lonely? Like, you're in a virtual world and you can, you know, you're rich and you can do whatever. But, like, can you eat? I love how that's my first thought. When you throw on VR goggles, if you're in a virtual reality, can you eat? Does cake taste like cake? Does a steak taste like steak? I do not like them, Sam. You know what I mean? Like, it's virtual reality. Which, to me, even the best virtual reality isn't as good as the real reality. I don't see a point where it ever will be. I'm not saying it won't be as addictive. It'll be more addictive and addicting. You know, we're all addicted to our phones. Our phones are not better than real life, I would argue. You might get tricked into thinking it is, but I don't think so. Anyway, that's kind of my weird thoughts to start your week. Let me know what you think. I don't know. Am I paranoid? Should we all embrace it? Should we embrace the virtual shit? Should we embrace the fact that some, freckly white dude from Harvard is going to be the god of everybody? He's going to control religion. Should we just be like, all right, I guess. Sure. Like when you go down to pray at night, you're praying to whatever God you believe in, but really you're praying to Mark Zuckerberg. You're throwing up hands for Mark Zuckerberg. Imagine just taking every Christian song that has Jesus in it and replacing it with Mark Zuckerberg. Just go ahead and do that as a little thought experiment. But that's how crazy it is. He wants to be Jesus. I don't know. Anyway, that's the podcast this week. Like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. Go to my Instagram. If you're in New York area, and you want to have a fun show on Wednesday, the 11th, we're doing a comedy show at a Tara Rose Bar at 7:30. Doors at 7. We got a great lineup. Mark Norman's on the show. Just filmed a Netflix special. It's kind of cool. So it should be fun. If you want to get tickets to that, go to the link in my Instagram bio. And also follow Yarbar Comedy. YARBAR Comedy. Should be a good time. See you there. If not, see you next week. Bye.